Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to U.S. History Through Film as we look at the video worksheet that accompanies the Nova episode, A Man, a Plan, a Canal, Panama. Now, number 13, in which we see that the Lesseps Canal Company collapsed in the year 1889, is about the bankruptcy of the Panama Canal Company, which was a huge scandal. It turned out that 150 French deputies had been bribed into voting for financial aid for the Panama Canal Company. In February of 1893, de Lesseps, his son Charles, and a number of others were tried and found guilty. De Lesseps was ordered to pay a fine and serve a prison sentence, but the later was overturned by the Court of Cassation on the grounds it had been more than 3 years since the crime had been committed. A new Panama Canal Company was formed and gained the right to build the canal, but didn't accomplish very much. So as we've already seen, in 1904, the United States bought out the assets of the new Panama Canal Company for $40 million, the company having originally asked $109 million. Number 17, we see that the nation of Colombia wasn't satisfied with the terms America proposed. Again, this was true. Colombia insisted they keep sovereignty over the canal and it be guarded by Colombian police paid by the United States, whereas the U.S. won complete control of the zone around the canal and offered Colombia $10 million up front, plus $250,000 a year in gold for that right, which was rejected by the Colombian Senate. In number 18, see that a revolution was staged by half a dozen prominent Panamanians and a French engineer, Philippe Bunau-Varilla, which was not just about American investment in the canal. Some Panamanians had for years felt they were not properly cared for by the Colombian government, but the canal was the main reason. And without American help, the revolution would not have succeeded. Of course, one of the main instigators of the revolution was Philippe Bunau-Varilla, the French engineer who'd worked for the Panama Canal Company, eventually as general manager, and purchased a lot of its stock in a new Panama Canal Company. If the U.S. had not been able to build that canal, then he would have lost a lot of money in that company. Or number 22, we see America's Secretary of State, John Hay, and Philippe Bunau-Varilla signed a treaty between the U.S. and Panama. And number 23, the U.S. paid Panama $10 million to gain the right to build the canal and rule the zone around it. And Bunau-Varilla had not just been a leader of the Panamanian Revolution. He wrote Panama's new constitution, he designed Panama's flag, he paid the government's entire budget out of his own pocket, expecting to more than make that up once he could sell his stock in a new Panama Canal Company. In exchange for that, he got himself named ambassador to the United States with absolute power to negotiate on behalf of Panama. He did sell the right to build the canal and occupy a 10-mile wide canal zone to the U.S. for $10 million and $250,000 a year. Panama was not entirely happy with this treaty, but for Bunau-Varilla, it secured the fortune he had made from the U.S. purchase of his stock in the company, and the canal got built. I don't believe he ever actually returned to Panama himself. Number 48, saying how as of noon, December 31st, 1991, the canal will belong to Panama and will be open to all nations, but protected by the United States. Describes the results of the Torrijos-Carter treaties, negotiated in 1977, signed to improve relations between the United States and Latin America, although a treaty relatively easy to sign. Excuse me, because America's largest warships could no longer fit through the Panama Canal anyway, so strategic significance was not nearly as great as it had been in the early 20th century. The treaties returned the canal zone to Panama in 1979, the canal itself in 1999, although with the condition that the canal remain neutral and open to all countries shipping, and the canal would be protected by the United States. The United States would guarantee the canal's neutrality. Some Panamanians resented the U.S. continuing to have the right to intervene at all, whereas some Americans resented giving up anything. Senator Strom Thurmond said the canal is ours. We bought and we paid for it and we should keep it. And some worried that Panama might not manage the canal well. However, since Panama gained control of the canal, it has managed it quite well, and it pays a large part of Panama's budget. Panama even undertook major expansion programs between 2007 and 2016, although the original locks, built in the early 20th century, are expected to remain in use indefinitely. And for America's right to intervene in Panama, so far, we've only had to do it once.